Hello there, Better Call Saul fans. Well, episode 9's now in the books. I'll put up the spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Some important things happen in this episode. We start off with the aftermath of all the Howard shenanigans, his murder and all that with Lalo. We see Kim and Jimmy going about their day. Plus we see Mike. He's still busy cleaning up after Howard, cleaning up their apartment. And we get back, we see Kim. Boy, Kim has one of the saddest looking looks on her face at the end of the teaser. Let me just say something about Ray Seahorn. In this episode, she was fantastic. In the beginning of the episode, she doesn't really say much. But every time you see the camera linger on her, just for a second or two, she's got that look. You can see the wheels turning up here. She's still busy processing all this. And of course, that pays off later in the episode. So after the teaser, we get to Gus. He goes down south to meet with Don Eladio. It is at Don Eladio's compound. I thought it might have been at Lalo's compound, but it's actually Don Eladio's compound. And Bolsa and Hector and the twins and Don Eladio are all there. And of course we kind of know how all that has to come out because of the way Breaking Bad goes. But it all plays out the way we expect. And we see Gus there looking at the pool, thinking about Max. And then we have Gus coming back home. He meets with Mike. Mike tells him everything seems to be going fine so far. And Gus decides to go out for a night on the town. He goes to some fancy bar where he's drinking wine, and he meets a friend that evidently he's known for a while. And this must be our special guest star. They must have tricked us. There was no Carol Burnett in this episode, but there was Reed Diamond. Reed Diamond, if you don't know, he's been in a lot of things. I remember him from Homicide: Life on the Street. That was a good show all the way back there. Turn of the century. But anyway, we see how Gus is attracted to this guy, and they start talking about wines, and it looks like they're going to hook up for the evening. But then we see Gus, and he must start thinking of Max, and realizes if he has a boyfriend, that's going to make him vulnerable. So he gets up and walks away. And then we have a scene with Mike. And what'd I tell you? Most innocent guy in the whole series is Nacho's dad. And when Gus is putting his gun away, we see him get the ID that he has for Nacho's dad. So he goes and visits Nacho's dad, and he tells him what happened to his son. Not in so many words. He just says he's never going to see him again. And then he tells Nacho's dad, "Oh, don't worry, justice is coming." Oh, and Nacho's dad gets the last word on that. Let's see, what exactly did he say? I wrote that down here. He said, "You gangsters and your justice, you're all the same," and walks away. So he pretty much got the last word on that, I think. But then we cut, and this is kind of funny. He talks about you gangsters and your justice. And then we cut to the lawyers having a wake for Howard. And boy, they got these pictures of Howard, all big, almost life-size photographs. I thought that was kind of comical at a wake, having these life-size photographs of this guy with a big smile, Mr. Photogenic. And of course, we see some of the lawyers. Jimmy and Kim come in. I think that's where Jimmy notices that they got a new trash can. which I thought that was pretty good, you know. At the very beginning, very first episode, he was kicking the trash can, and now they got a new one. We find out that HHM is going to be change their name and move and all that because they're downsizing. And then we see Cheryl, Howard's wife, and Cliff, and Jimmy and Kim walk up to her to pay their respects. And she's suspicious. She kind of interrogates Jimmy, and then Kim steps in and actually lies to help Jimmy, saying that she saw Howard doing some sort of foreign substance late one night in the office. And Cheryl doesn't seem to be quite convinced with Kim, so she turns to Cliff Maine, of course, Ed Begley Jr. there, and Cliff Maine kind of confirms the story that Kimmy and Jimmy have been pushing, that Howard was on drugs, because of course they set him up that way. And Cliff seems to be confirming their story. So it looks like Kimmy and Jimmy are going to get away with it, scot-free. And they go, then we see Kimmy and Jimmy down in the parking lot at HHM. And of course that's where we first saw Kim. In the very first episode, they were there in the parking lot smoking a cigarette. And again, Kim hardly says anything the whole time. But boy, you can see those wheels turning as Jimmy's rationalizing everything. She's still busy processing everything. And the next scene, we get Kim in court trying to defend one of her clients, and she says, well, I have a motion I got to present to the judge. So her and the prosecutor go up, have a sidebar with the judge, and she tells him she's resigned. She's quit the law, which, of course, that's a big shocker. And, of course, we cut back now to the apartment, and Jimmy can't believe it. We have their big argument, and it's really quite, I got to admit, I was surprised. They didn't lie to each other. They just came right out and said what they felt. Like I say, these two are definitely in love. It's just how toxic is their love. That's why Kim wants out of the whole thing. She thinks they're just, she says at one point, apart we're okay, but once we get together we're toxic. And of course she's packing everything and she's leaving. And we get a shot of Jimmy's head, the back of his head, and I thought, well, this will be where the episode ends. But no, we get our flash forward. And boy, what a flash forward it is. It's right up, we know we're in Breaking Bad times. I'll tell you why later, but we see Jimmy wake up there in the bed in his big mansion, just like we saw in the first episode of this season. He's got a hooker there in bed with him. And we see him going through his day, going through his big closet. And if you listen closely, one of the cases he has coming up for the day is a public masturbation case. And if you remember back from Breaking Bad, that's where Jimmy first met Badger. He thought he was in jail for public masturbation instead of on a drug charge. And of course we see Jimmy going throughout his day. He's now Saul Goodman, totally. You can just see it in his reactions. He's completely put Kim behind him, it looks like. And we get to the end. We see him there in his office, and of course he recites the line from one of the trailers that says, "Let justice be done, though the heavens fall." And that's the end of the episode. Again, quite a big setup now. It looks like Kim's out of the picture with still 4 episodes to go. Again, I still see that plane on the horizon. We're set up before it crashes here, because looks like we're in season 2, Breaking Bad, where he first meets Walt. I think that's where we're going to pick up next week. And as far as Kim goes, we have no idea, but I still think she's going to be on that plane. I see that plane coming round the bend. That's kind of like that Johnny Cash song, you know. I caught Johnny Cash once. In fact, he was using a plane. He used a plane to murder his girlfriend and her mother. You can look that one up. I'll put it up there on the screen, whatever the episode name was. But anyhow, I think I still think that's what's going to happen to Kim, but we'll wait and see. Of course, those hombres are going to be back next week. So we're definitely in the Breaking Bad timeline now. We'll just have to wait and see how all that plays out. But still, with 4 more episodes, it's all coming down to Gene, or Jimmy, or Saul, whatever you want to call him. Of course, it's his story. But another great episode again. Well acted all around. Like I said, Ray Seahorn, and of course Gus was terrific. And Mike with his scenes, you could see he's starting to feel the weight of all this. And of course Jimmy, we're gonna see how his story all plays out over the last 4 episodes. But I think this is just wrapping up beautifully. Can't wait to see next week's episode. I might have some predictions as far as that goes later in the week. We'll wait and see. But anyhow, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.